follower soldiers around him. They were called the Golden Ones, the Dorados. And so that was the inner circle of Pancho Villa. So they were basically his generals. They were his bodyguards. They were his the people that had special missions that he sent. He could trust them 100%. And so Lopez was one of them.
So Lopez didn't do this event on the train without Pancho Villa telling him to, did he?
No, absolutely not.
So
in fact, there's Lopez, maybe to a little more about his history. When he, after this attack on the train, he got away, and he then was one of the leaders of the attack on Columbus 2 months later.
Oh.
And so that happened in March 1916.
Okay.
And so Lopez then in this raid was shot in both legs, but got away, was hunted down by the Constitutionalists, caught in May 1916, and then was executed in June. And interestingly, just before his execution, it took a month because they wanted him to stand to be executed, so his legs had to heal. So they put him in jail.
Oh,
for
that's
a month.
weird.
But he gave an interview, and in this interview, he's the only one that ever actually talked about why Pancho Villa attacked Santa Isabel and why he attacked Columbus. And so there he even said that, he was the leader of this attack, and it wasn't enough for Pancho Villa. He wanted an intervention from the United States, and so they attacked Columbus.
And this is all part of the Mexican Revolution as it was evolving, no? Yes?
Yes. Well, evolving. It's the part of the Mexican Revolution when Pancho Villa's famed Division of the North was basically defeated, and he retreated into the mountains and did guerrilla warfare. So this has happened in the end of 1915. Basically, his big army was defeated, and the Constitutionalists had won that civil war.
Well, there was all kinds of things that went on back then. That's just one incident in a. I think you referred to it in your blog online as the Road to Columbus, and that basically Columbus was, I guess, one of the biggest parts of this. But take us through the details of, first of all, what was Columbus? I mean, people may not know what that is, but a lot of people do, but some people don't.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So it's very important to really consider the entire context of what's happening at that time. On a global perspective, you had World War I. You had the United States supporting France and England and Russia against Germany, even though they were officially neutral. And then at the same time, you had the Mexican Revolution. You had a civil war. The two factions, the Villistas and the Constitutionalists, basically had a falling out after ousting General Huerta in 1914.
So they were together. And, they were together at one point.
Exactly. Yeah. So they before then they had a common enemy in Huerta, and so they did this. And Villa was incredibly successful. His army at its height had about 40,000 soldiers. Was the largest army in Mexico. And but when the Civil War broke out, General Obregón, who was a Constitutionalist general, he defeated Villa in 1915 quite handily, and caused the Division of the North to eventually be disbanded. About 8,000 soldiers received pardon and went back to their villages or wherever they came from, or joined the Constitutionalist army. And that happened in the fall of 1915. And that's really important to see what's going on here, because of course these, Villa never gave up his fight. He actually declared war on the United States because the United States had a hand in his defeat. There was a battle in Agua Prieta, for example, where U.S. Railroads transported Constitutionalist soldiers from the east to the town to defeat Pancho Villa. That happened again in the Battle of Nogales. So Villa really blamed the United States to a large degree for his defeat.
Go ahead. Well, wasn't he actually focused on the President Woodrow Wilson?
Well, yes, Wilson. So Pancho Villa was somebody who was a big personality himself, and of course, politics of personality is the way he saw the world. And so, in his opinion, of course, everything that happened to him had to do with President Wilson himself. He considered him a friend at one point.
Was there other people in the United States government, military, or whatever, who were more responsible, or was it Wilson?
Certainly, President Wilson was convinced by his advisors to drop support for Pancho Villa and throw his weight behind Venustiano Carranza, who became president. Andrew, maybe if you can show picture number 1. So Carranza was recognized by the U.S. government in October 1915 as the de facto president of Mexico. And so that is clearly an action that Wilson himself had a big hand in. But if you look at actually the real problems that Pancho Villa faced, you have a customs collector of El Paso, for example, Zach Lamar Cobb. And Cobb turned out to be a viable enemy against Pancho Villa. He was able to immediately shut down all supplies to the Villistas when Carranza was declared president. And he, as it turned out much later, historians found out that he actually not only was the tax collector, but he also worked for the highly secret intelligence department of the State Department.
Oh, and when you say
he was actually a spy.
When you say he shut down the supplying of Villa, you're talking about United States people selling stuff to Villa or supplying Villa, and that's what he shut down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was responsible for the customs house in El Paso. Nothing passed through the border unless you smuggled it without the knowledge of Cobb. And of course, he also pursued smugglers very deftly. And so when in 1915, in the fall, the Villistas became guerrillas, he is actually the one that made sure that Pancho Villa could not source coal, weapons, munitions, army supplies, anything from the United States.
I hear
I think in your show we talked earlier about the Pancho Villa stash house in El Paso that was raided in November 1915.
Well, let's get to that.
That's a good example of what Cobb was doing. He was the one that actually had the stash house raided.
All right,
it was to take away money from Pancho Villa.
Harry, let's take that on in a minute. We need to take a break here. It's the El Paso History Radio Show, and the guy talking there is on the phone from the cold East Coast, Heribert von Feilitzsch, and we appreciate your being available this morning. And you have a whole presentation here with pictures and everything, and we're streaming those live on Facebook. And that's facebook.com/El Paso History Radio Show. And the guy he's talking to about putting up the pictures is Andrew J. Polk in the control room. We appreciate what you're doing in there. You got your bell?
No, his bell's still asleep.
I know you're in there. We appreciate what you're doing. He's Monday through Friday, Andrew is, on Talk El Paso right here on the same station. And he is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. these days. Appreciate you coming in on Saturdays, too, dude. That's a good thing. All right, Harry, put yourself on hold. Let me talk. Excuse me.
Put yourself on hold so we can go to break.
We got to do that. So we have a capacity to take phone calls. You want to throw that number out there?
Yeah, give us a call at 915-544-5876 or 915-544-KTSM.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
M1 EP Management Corporation is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, invest in real estate. M1 EP manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Mike Baca, 915-592-4549. 915-592-4549.
Win $1,000.
No way.
Way.
No way. No way.
Oh, baby. Yes way.
No way.
It's $1,000 in your hand. Listen every hour from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. weekdays for your chance to win.
$1,000 in your hand is brought to you by Approved Autos. Drive out in your new ride in less than an hour. Choose from every make and model from their super clean, hand-picked inventory and get payments as low as $159 a month. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. If you got your license and you got a job, they smell a deal. The deals are sweeter at Approved Autos, 8498 Alameda.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-716-9085. That's 800-716-9085 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-716-9085. That's 800-716-9085. 800-716-9085.
When El Paso Children's Hospital first opened its doors in 2012, they forever changed pediatric healthcare in the region. More families stay in El Paso for specialty treatment instead of leaving town. More children have access to pediatric specialists. 7 pediatric specialty clinics help achieve the best possible outcomes. And there's so much more to come. El Paso Children's Hospital, celebrating 10 years of pediatric specialty care in the region. 10 years of wonder.
So great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code FUEL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code FUEL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FUEL.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
And indeed, Monterey Asset Management has changed its name to M1EP. We'll get that straightened out here in a bit. But that's on that one. That was still the old one. But the thing is, we have got the El Paso History Radio Show live on Facebook now. Apparently, audio's fixed. And we do this announcement just so you know what else is going on. YouTube.com is where our TV channel is. Go to YouTube.com, search that, get that, and then search in YouTube El Paso History TV. El Paso Gold DVDs, a bunch of them are now online there for free. Take a look. And if you really want to know some El Paso history, it'll give you a good rundown. Another series we did on ABC 7. Also on El Paso History TV, and that's there as well. And then these we're now archiving on YouTube. You can see and hear what's going on the recordings that we do there. So what do you got?
Well, it's a new year, and I think we could all use a Pepe's Restaurant one and only margarita.
Yay!
Hey, let's bring a barrel of them in here. So next time you dine at Pepe's, order a margarita to enjoy with your meal. And now you can also get your margaritas to go, so you could take a whole gallon of them home with you. So head over on to Pepe's Restaurant located in Canutillo at 6761 Donovan Drive. And Pepe's phone number is 915-877-2152.
I'm sort of planning to go out there today myself. We'll see how that turns out. And you?
I'm thinking.
You're thinking
I've got
about
a lot of stuff going on at home I have to clean up. So.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. All right, we got Heribert von Feilitzsch on the phone. Harry, lot going on. We'll get back to the stash house in a bit because we need to explain that. But you wanted to talk about a banquet in El Paso. Where's Harry?
Harry?
Important to know about why these miners actually went to Curiosities is that, in the Civil War, of course, commerce was interrupted and it was dangerous for Americans to be there. Of course, there were also lots of robberies. Silver ore was taken from trains and stolen and so forth. And so a lot of the mines had shut down. And so it was really important for Carranza when he won the Civil War against Villa to restart this part of the economy. This was a big deal. They had to get this revenue and get tax revenue to start building their organizations, the state again. And so in December 1915, on the 30th, Carranza sent General Obregón to El Paso. And Andrew, if you could show picture number 4. This is a great picture I found. It's hard to date because Obregón actually came to El Paso several times. But on this picture, you can see Obregón in his car with his lieutenants. And they're going into El Paso and driving down the street. And so what happened on December 30th, the mayor, Tom Lee, and John Pershing, the commander of Fort Bliss at the time, they were hosting a banquet for this victorious General Obregón. And at this banquet, Obregón gave a big speech. He basically declared that Pancho Villa was defeated and that he was not a danger anymore. And as a result, he encouraged Americans to come back to Mexico, come back to Chihuahua, restart the mining business, restart agriculture, restart merchandising, and so forth. And so that kind of was the speech that convinced businessmen in El Paso to consider going back into Mexico. And Obregón was adamant that it was absolutely safe. And so the Azarco company, so the big smelter in El Paso, American smelting refining company, Azarco owned this company in Curiosities that was called the Cusi Mining Company. And it was shut down. And so the Azarco decided to send 19 employees to Curiosities to restart the mine. So some of these employees were just miners, others were mining engineers. The head of the whole thing, the general manager of the Cusi Mining Company, was a man named Charles Watson. And so they decided to go to Curiosities and restart the mine. And they had a visa issued by the Mexican consul, Andres Garcia. They also were encouraged by people like Sackler Marcotte, the customs collector, as well as the American consul in Ciudad Juarez. His name was Thomas Edwards. Edwards guaranteed that it is safe and they can travel across the railroads and nothing would happen to them. And so, tough one. They made one tactical mistake that proved to be absolutely disastrous. They actually declined the offer by the constitutionalist government to be accompanied by Mexican soldiers, by constitutionalist soldiers. So they could have had a military guard taking that train, but they declined basically because Watson thought that would just put more attention on this train and might be actually negative rather than positive.
Did turn out, yeah.
On January 9th, they set off from El Paso. They first went to Chihuahua City, and then the next day they took a train from Chihuahua City to Curiosities. And on the train, like I said, were these 19 employees of Asarco and Cusi Mining Company. There were also other passengers on board, of course, people from Chihuahua and other parts of Mexico going to Cusi Huriachic.
All right, Harry, let's put it there.
And,
we got to take a break. Let's put it right there. Come back and explain what happened on the train, because there's a lot of detail that is available to talk about. So, and again, this relates to El Paso because these miners were from El Paso, and also it affected what happened in our city greatly. And people often wonder. We'll talk about this after the break as well, about why we talk about the Mexican Revolution so much. We will get to that. You have any?
Roy Sinclair, one of our former listener. Well, lived in El Paso, now in St. Louis. He's getting snowed on right now.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, keep warm there, Roy.
All right.
And we got people from all over the country listening to us. So
a lot of comments there on Facebook. You can take a look at them.
Yes.
All right, we shall be back in just a moment.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Donovan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the one and only margarita from the cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Donovan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Sunshine Health, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Sunshine Health, you get the coverage you want and the health care you need. If your employer doesn't supply health care coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to dial pound 250 on your mobile device now and say the keyword healthcare. That's pound 250 and say the keyword healthcare. Sunshine Health is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, dial pound 250 right now and say the keyword healthcare. That's pound 250 and say the keyword healthcare.
Open the doors to Aaron Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities, a podcast that offers a rare glimpse into some of the most amazing and unbelievable stories taken straight from the pages of history. What you hear may astound you and disturb you. Tune in twice a week for bite-sized storytelling experiences that take listeners on a guided tour of the unbelievable, the unsettling, and the bizarre. Listen to Aaron Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Happy New Year, El Paso. This is Ivan Ochoa, General Manager from Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. Thank you, El Paso and surrounding areas, for helping us have a record-breaking year. As a gesture of gratitude, we're offering 0 down, 0 APR for 72 months, no payments for 90 days, and exceptional trade-in offers for any trade.
Keep your cash and save thousands with record-breaking price cuts during the Start Something New sales event going on now at Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. 2022 Ram trucks, huge selection, huge savings. Save thousands in interest with 0 APR for 72 months on 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokees, Dodge Charger, and Durango SUVs. Looking to save thousands on your next car, truck, or SUV? The all-new Sunland Park Dodge Certified Pre-Owned Super Center has a great selection with more arriving daily. All military personnel and all first responders receive an additional discount. Thank you for your service. Sunland Park Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. We're buying a car. It's still fun. At I-10 at Sunland Park Drive or online at sunlandparkdodge.com. Estamos en tu esquina El Paso strong. Includes factory rebate and dealer discount plus TTNL. 0 APR is $13.89 per thousand finance. All select vehicles with approved credit. Offers not combined.
More than 1 in 3 people will face cancer in their lifetime. Unfortunately, fear can stop you from getting your cancer screening, but it won't stop cancer. Early detection can save your life. Don't wait for symptoms to appear to act. Cancer screening is safe, effective, and accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com right now for free screening resources and recommendations from the American Cancer Society. Don't wait. Early detection can save your life. Go to cancerscreeninfo.com today. cancerscreeninfo.com.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. On top of that, they have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By Monterey Asset Management. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
Just to make sure you know that you can go to celebrationofourmountains.org to find out what's going on with them. They have all kinds of events and activities. And they do schedule trips out of town as well. So you might get a hold of them at celebrationofourmountains.org, or you can call 915-525-7364.
Monterey Asset Management has changed their name, and they've been one of our longtime sponsors, and it's now called numeral1 EP Management Corp. And the principal certified property manager is Mike Baca. Visit their website at m1ep.com at 915-591-3303 to learn more. Now, also, we'd love you to call Patrick Tuttle at Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate. Patrick's a top-selling realtor and is the person to go to buy, sell, or rent a home. So give Patrick Tuttle a call today at 915-588-1850.
Those are good people. We appreciate what they do.
Appreciate their sponsorship.
Oh, yeah. We've got Heribert von Feilitzsch on the phone here, and he's doing things about the Mexican Revolution, and we're delving into the details of the massacre at Santa Isabel, and we'll get to that detail in a minute. But I just wanted you to take a moment, Harry, and explain why the Mexican Revolution, we talk about it a lot on this radio show. Why is that important to El Paso history?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really important part of El Paso history. There are several reasons. One is, of course, that under President Diaz, the Mexican economy started focusing on the U.S. market. And one of the main commerce intersections between Mexico and the United States was El Paso, Ciudad Juarez. And so that gave El Paso an incredible importance in commerce. The second thing is, of course, that in these border towns, especially El Paso, a lot of the exploits of the Mexican Revolution were actually hatched as planned. So you had people like Villa and others meet here in El Paso. They had houses there. They had, like we talked earlier about the stash house, they had money here. A lot of the people that were supplying the Mexican Revolutionary armies were located in El Paso. So Pancho Villa's brother Hipólito, for example, sourced a lot of supplies for the army of Villa. And so El Paso was in effect a large part of the Mexican Revolution. And of course, it also grew in size as a result, not only from refugees, but also from the wealth that this commerce created. So Mexican Revolution was quite profitable for American merchants, especially arms and munitions merchants.
Yeah, a lot of people in El Paso made
many levels,
money.
El Paso is incredibly important in the Mexican Revolution, and in turn, the Mexican Revolution is incredibly important with respect to El Paso.
Indeed. And so we, to the details of this massacre, we were just getting to this. We had a question on Facebook. Did this happen in a tunnel? And I think it happened near a tunnel. What is your thought?
It actually happened in a place called Box Canyon. So it was along the Santa Isabel River, about 5 miles outside of the hamlet of Santa Isabel. And the railroad basically makes a curve that then leads into this Box Canyon. So it was not really a tunnel, but it was enclosed on 3 sides. And that's where the Villistas had actually derailed another train. And so that's why the train with the mining engineers stopped there.
Also,
couldn't go any further.
Also, Harry, isn't this is also referred to sometimes as Gringo's curve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll get to that maybe second hour. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it was just basically a location that allowed people, the Villistas in this case, from the hills to shoot onto the train and prevent escape. Really, people couldn't get out.
Okay. So what are the details? I mean, this was a pretty bad deal.
Yeah, it's a really bad deal. So the train basically stopped in Santa Isabel on its way to Cusihuriachic and to take on water. Santa Isabel is at that time a very small hamlet. And so they just took on water, and passengers on the train noticed 2 armed riders, people on horses, slowly riding by the windows of the train cars and looking inside. And as it turned out, those 2 were part of the attackers. They were looking if the engineers were really inside the train. And then they sped away. The train continued on its trip. And as they took the curve into Box Canyon, they encountered this derailed train in front of them. The train stopped, and people got out of it. Some of them, including Charles Watson, the general manager, left the train to see what's happening. And as a matter of fact, what he saw was armed riders coming down the hills and also from behind. And so Watson started running. And I think if you allow me, Jackson, I could read the account of the only survivor of this massacre.
All right.
His name was Thomas Holmes, and he described for the El Paso Herald at the time what happened.
Go ahead.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So this is what Holmes said. Watson, after getting off, ran toward the river. Mashattan, his actually name was Richard McHatton of El Paso, and I followed. Mashattan fell. I do not know whether he was killed then or stripped. Watson kept running, and they were still shooting at him when I turned and ran down grade, where I fell in some brush, probably 100 feet from the rear of the train. I lay there perfectly quiet and looked around and could see the Mexicans shooting in the direction in which Watson was running. I saw that they were not shooting at me, and thinking they believed me already dead, I took a chance and crawled into some thicker brushes until I reached the bank of the stream, which was the Isabel River. I then made my way to a point probably 100 yards from the train. I lay under the bank for half an hour and heard shots by 1s, 2s, and 3s. I did not hear any sort of groans or yells or cries from our Americans. So he's describing what happened. The train actually was stopped. The people that had curiously come off the train were immediately shot down, except for Holmes. And then the Villistas went into the rail car with the Americans and pulled them, started shooting in there, but pulled most of them out, lined them up in front of the train, and shot them one by one, executed them.
Bummer.
Execution, yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Well, That's a fairly graphic account. We don't normally get into that kind of stuff here, but it did happen.
It shows the reality of what it was.
That's pretty detailed, yeah. But the one guy that survived, he managed to figure out how to get out of there.
Yeah, so he was lucky. He with Watson and the others that were running away from the train stumbled and fell into brush. And I suppose that his pursuers thought that he was hit. And he actually then crawled down to the river and hid in brushes close to the river. And I guess they never found him. So very, very lucky.
How long did he have to stay there until somebody finally came to find them?
So what he did is he first hid for, like he said, about half an hour. Then he started walking up the river and actually went back to Santa Isabel and then made it back to El Paso the next day. So he did that by himself. He wasn't really rescued. He's the one that notified the authorities in El Paso about what happened. And a lot of books that deal with this incident basically say that Holmes was the only eyewitness. But that's, of course, not true. There were quite a few other passengers that were Mexican that were not bothered by the Villistas. So there were lots of witnesses, but only one American witness.
Wasn't one of the people that was spared from the mine was also, he was Mexican, and he was I think I wanted to say the treasurer or the bookkeeper. Wasn't that one of them also?
Well, the treasurer, I mean, he was Mexican American. But he did get killed. Let me find out. Somewhere I wrote down his name.
That's what we call it.
But talking about the treasurer, this is an interesting. Here it is. Mr. Romero. He was from El Paso, but he was one of the victims. He was killed.
Wow.
But when you say treasurer, what's really interesting here as well is that Watson had quite a bit of money with him. The mines had been shut down and workers laid off. And so he had $3,200 in cash with him in bullion. And that's about $68,000 in today's value. So there's quite a bit of cash.
And he got away with that?
With him.
He was able to get away with that?
Well, no, Watson was murdered. And this cash obviously went into the coffers of the Villistas.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to take a break here, Harry. Heribert von Feilitzsch is on with us by phone, and we're talking about a massacre in Mexico in January of 1916. It was part of the revolution and led up to some serious stuff, including the raid on Columbus. So, all right, Harry, when we come back, we'll have about, about 8 or 9 minutes. Come back and fill that up with something interesting. I'm sure you can.
Harry always can.
Oh, yeah. No, you're good at this. And that's just
I got a dog story.
Okay. I want
to hear the dog story.
We can hear that after the break, okay?
After the break. There we go.
Fair enough. This is El Paso History Radio Show. You found us. Thank you for doing so. We'll be back in just a moment.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
We've lost so many people to COVID. So many moms and dads, favorite uncles, older sisters, and best friends. But vaccines can help prevent severe illness and death from COVID. So now, almost all COVID deaths are preventable. And so are the broken hearts they leave behind. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continued to take Andro 400, and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
I bought football tickets for my husband's birthday, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, Sullivan here from the At Home with Gary Sullivan Network. Well, we're planning on a really big DIY weekend. We'll take your calls about your home, painting, patching, general fix-up that you may have those problem areas around your home. We can help. Clopay Garage Doors, they'll also join us. They'll be talking about Hurricane Code garage doors. Sure hope you can join us.
At Home with Gary Sullivan, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By M1 EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
One announcement for you here. Rick Kern's music podcast is called Talk and Rock Radio. Go to talkandrockradio.com, find out what Rick's doing about the history of music in El Paso. He interviews a lot of interesting people.
Our sponsor, Mission Del Rey, just knocked out some walls to expand their showroom to include a new section, the Alpaca Room, featuring soft plush alpaca blankets, capes, shawls, and throws for cold weather items and other cold weather items like scarves and such. Alpaca is one of the world's softest and warmest wools available. Looking for a bargain? Then visit the clearance section, which includes scratch and dent items as well as closeouts. You can also shop online at missiondelrey.com or visit their showroom at 1421 Lee Trevino. And don't forget to mention you heard about this on the El Paso History Radio Show for a discount.
Oh, yeah. Let's go get a discount. Why not?
Go shopping.
All right. Heribert von Feilitzsch, you got a story here. You said about a dog. You got about 3 minutes here.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's just one of those surprising things that you come at when you do research. And in this case, I did not know this, but I found an article where they described the Scotch Airedale Terrier that Charles Watson had with him. That was his trusted companion. And Whiskers was his name. Whiskers was one of 5 dogs that were on the train with the Americans. Only 4 sadly survived. The 5th one had a bullet wound and was put out of his misery at one point. But when rescuers from El Paso came the next day to retrieve the bodies of these victims, Whiskers was laying beside his master's head, and they couldn't get him to move. So he just basically wanted to stay with his master. He then ended up on the train next to his master's casket, and was riding with him to El Paso, and whined piteously, as the newspaper described. And so the only thing that I don't know is what happened to Whiskers. So he made it into the newspaper in El Paso, and of course, Mr. Watson was buried then in the next few days. And so I'm not sure what happened to Whiskers. I hope that he was adopted or went to Mr. Watson's family and lived out a happy life.
A lot of tough stories there, including a dog. My goodness. Well, we're talking about a massacre called the Santa Isabel Massacre. And the reason it's important to El Paso history is because there were some things that did occur once that was understood in El Paso. And I guess it was a shock I didn't realize the Sarco El Paso owned that company. So they were a Sarco engineers, basically, right? Mining engineers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
because I've heard it reported as the Sarco engineers, and this other company name pops in. Well, I appreciate your details on these kind of things. We got about a minute and a half before this break. What are your thoughts on why? Again, let's go over this. Maybe we already covered it a bit, but the reason that this is important to El Paso history, because it did have a major effect. Well, I guess you'll talk about that in the second hour, about what happened in El Paso, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, what's important to note about this is that you really have to look at it in the context of what's happening in Mexico and the rest of the world. And the attack on Santa Isabel came only 2 weeks after Mexican revolutionaries dispatched a team to Germany to raise money for a new front against the Mexican government.
Oh, really?
So they wanted to start another civil war.
Oh, my.
And so Santa Isabel was possibly, the first step to show the Germans that Pancho Villa was really serious about starting another war against Carranza.
Well, was he really?
And, so that's really important.
Was he really? Is that serious?
I think it was that serious.
No, but
and don't forget that there was a standing order by the German government to its operatives, including Felix Sommerfeld, to create a war between Mexico and the United States.
Well, yeah.
Sommerfeld worked for Pancho Villa, and we know Columbus then actually got this intervention that they sought and created a 9-month incursion into Mexico with almost the entire U.S. Army.
And they got what they wanted, it sounded like. Amazing history here.
It's close to it, yeah.
And that's what we talk about here. All right, we're going to take a break here, top of the hour. We'll come back and continue this, and I'll talk to you on off the air to see what you want to do about it. Fair enough?
Okay.
All right.
Take care, Harry.
Talk to you then. See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the El Paso History Show. There's another hour to go, so please stay tuned. This hour is brought to you by Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. By Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive. By M1 EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. We'll be right back after the news, right here on News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
An unmitigated disaster at our southern border, and you will pay the full price. This is a full-blown crisis. It is a humanitarian crisis. It is a national security crisis. It is a health and safety for you and your family crisis.
Joe Biden's weak border policies have made America and Texas less safe. Take it from Brandon Judd, president of the National Border Patrol Council.
Joe Biden refuses to secure our southern border. He's crippled law enforcement and emboldened dangerous drug cartels, criminals, and human traffickers. That's why the National Border Patrol Council is proud to endorse Governor Greg Abbott for re-election. He deployed new resources to assist law enforcement, and he's cracked down on criminal activity. No other governor has done more to secure our border than Greg Abbott.
Vote on March 1st. Governor Greg Abbott, securing the future of Texas.
Political ad paid for by Texans for Greg Abbott.
And
NBC News Radio, I'm Julie Ryan. A tsunami advisory is in effect for the entire West Coast following the eruption of an underwater volcano in the Tonga Islands. The advisory includes coastal areas from California to Washington State and Alaska. Authorities in California's North Coastal Bay, which includes San Francisco, are taking no chances. The Alameda County Emergency Office issued evacuation orders telling people in the Berkeley Marina to get out of their boats and off the water immediately. Strong currents are expected to affect beaches, harbors, and marina docks for the next several hours. President Biden is approving a disaster declaration for Tennessee following severe tornado and storm damage last month. About a dozen counties are set to receive federal funding under the declaration approved Friday. The assistance includes low-cost loans for property losses, as well as grants for housing repairs and temporary housing. The White House said other areas were still under assessment and could receive federal financial assistance in the future. Americans can start ordering free COVID home test kits on Wednesday. Lisa Taylor has more.
There will be a limit of 4 test kits per household. Tests are expected to be shipped within 7 to 12 days of ordering. The Biden administration has ordered hundreds of thousands of home test kits. The venue for ordering is a new government website, covidtests.gov.
6 people are injured after a shooting at a concert in Oregon. Police say the shooting happened outside a concert venue last night in downtown Eugene. Police Chief Chris Skinner says one of those wounded was in critical condition. It's not clear if it was a random shooting, but police were looking for a suspect wearing a hoodie who fled the scene. Americans set a new record for shopping over the holiday season. The National Retail Federation says holiday sales in the U.S. totaled $886.7 billion. The increase was especially notable in November and December. That's when sales, which include those made online, soared more than 14%. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Cooler to much colder weather will be moving in along with breezy to windy conditions. We'll talk about our next cold front moving through, plus the changes it'll bring to the area for the weekend. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kira Miner.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. It sure feels good to step into a warm car after letting it heat up for a few minutes. However, this practice wastes gas, increases emissions, and pollutes the air. Limit idling your car to no more than 3 minutes to save money at the gas station and improve air quality. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-716-9085. That's 800-716-9085 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-716-9085. That's 800-716-9085. 800-716-9085.
Join Brian Birds of the Brian Birds Home Selling Team every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. for real estate tips with Brian. The best in El Paso when it comes to selling. Brian is an expert in real estate. Listen every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. on KTSM AM 690 for tips on buying or selling your home, info on what's going on in the market today, and much, much more. Real estate tips with Brian every Sunday morning at 7:30 on KTSM AM 690.
Remember your kids' first steps?
Yes!
Remember that great birthday dinner? Did you remember your anniversary?
Today is, Well, maybe you'll remember while you're sleeping on the dog bed.
Memories are not made in traffic. Before you leave, remember to check in.
Oh, scoot over, dog.
More living, less driving. Time-saving traffic updates. El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
News Radio 690 KTSM presents the second hour of the El Paso History Show with documentary filmmaker Jackson Polk and historian Melissa Sargent, streaming live at ktsmradio.com. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. By Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive. By M1 EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. And now, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
I'll take that cue and tell you it's the top of the second hour. What a surprise here. And we do have an El Paso History Moment produced by Melissa Sargent. And she does this for the El Paso History Alliance page, but you also do it for us, do you not?
Yeah, I do it for the audience.
Well,
How's
that's
Our
even better.
And people out there, yes.
Our story today is about Pancho Villa helping refugees of the Mexican Revolution.
Amigos listos. It's 1910 and the Mexican Revolution drives thousands of Mexicans and expatriates across the border into El Paso, but the flood of refugees strains local food supplies and resources. Civic leaders Eugenia Schuster and Mrs. Alberta Madero, Juarez's mayor's wife, jump into action. They decide that someone has to provide for these refugees in El Paso and Juarez. So the ladies as amigos listos, or ready friends in English, demand a meeting with Pancho Villa and persuade him that he help with the needs of the refugees in El Paso and Juarez. Villa, succumbing to their demands, quickly arranges daily train carloads of beans and beef be delivered to feed the refugees in El Paso and Juarez. More history next week on El Paso History Moments. I'm Melissa Sargent for the El Paso History Alliance.
And there you are, being
That's
alive.
right, yeah. And if you enjoy learning about El Paso and the area's history, then you need to visit these two Facebook pages. The El Paso History Alliance, a group of historians who promote the architectural history and culture of El Paso. It is managed by Max Grossman and Mark Stone. And the numero uno, Remember in El Paso When, with thousands of pictures, stories, and much more, managed by Barbara Given-Bainey and her team of volunteer editors for the page.
I sort of look at that as like the primary place to go when you're looking at stuff here and on Facebook. And if you use their stuff, just give them credit to their site. Chief admin owner is historian Barbara Given-Bainey. Rick Duncan is an admin also. Rick Nahara. Margaret D. Smith is an historian. Paul Louie. And moderators have been Vincent and Ken Weiss. A lot of good people that are doing a lot of volunteer work, and we do appreciate that. We do have a caller on the phone. Let's talk to Harry first. Harry, we got a caller who wants to talk about the Veracruz invasion. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Okay, hold on here. We got coming up here, Alan. Alan, we got you on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I was going to mention about the Veracruz invasion. It was the blockade, munitions, supplies coming into Mexico. They took the port city, the U.S. Navy and the Marines and the Army. And I don't know, I forget how long they actually kept it occupied. But that caused El Paso to become a more important point for supply and munitions. So there's a lot of people forget about Veracruz, where everybody focuses on the 1916 punitive expedition, but they forget about Veracruz. It happened basically at the beginning of World War I, and of course, foreign powers are trying to ship armaments and supplies into Mexico. I just thought I'd bring that up for people to realize we at least invaded Mexico two major times during the Revolution. That's all.
Fair enough. Appreciate your call. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
You take it easy. Harry, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Alan makes a really good point here. So the intervention at Veracruz happened in the summer of 1914, just before World War I, and it was basically the death nail for Huerta's government. The weapons that the Americans seized there were on a German, or they tried to seize, they actually got away. There was a German cruiser, but they were actually American weapons. And the cruiser then went on to Puerto Mexico and unloaded anyway. But Alan is absolutely right that occupation lasted for 9 months, and the harbor was basically not available to most factions other than the Carranza faction that actually eventually made Veracruz, took over Veracruz and was allowed to ship through it.
But a lot of the action that happened that we're talking about did center around the El Paso area, and has a lot to do with Fort Bliss, I would think, back in the day. And also, you mentioned that how did those miners get carted back to El Paso. You're going to pick up the story there.
Yeah. So as soon as it became known in El Paso what had happened, a group of rescuers from El Paso went on a train and drove through Chihuahua City to Santa Isabel. And this time they did have a military soldiers guarding them. So Carancistas were actually on the train with them. And that was a good thing, because when they got to the place, Box Canyon, where the massacre happened, the Istas were literally a few hundred feet away watching them on horseback, armed. So the Carancista soldiers made no effort to go after them. And these guys were literally still around, and they were watching every move of the Americans. So the Americans collected the bodies and put them on the train and took them back to El Paso. They got back on the 13th, so 3 days after the massacre actually happened. And people in El Paso were outraged. I mean, especially when they saw how mutilated the bodies were, and they heard the story from Watson and another passenger, Mr. Salas, also was an eyewitness. He literally watched how they were executed, and people were just absolutely outraged, incensed. And I don't know, Andrew, if you could put up picture number 16. It's one of the typical cartoons you saw at the time in newspapers and so forth. There's Pancho Villa basically mutilating Americans and putting them in their graves. And so what happened in El Paso was that especially white residents started hitting the streets and demonstrating, damaging shops owned by Mexican and Mexican-American residents, and started a riot. So in the afternoon of January 13th, this mob literally went through the streets of El Paso and rioted. And one thing they found, they wanted to lynch Villistas, so they started to look for Jose Inez Salazar. He's a general that lived in exile in El Paso, who had aligned himself with Villa in the last throng of the Civil War. And they went after him to try to lynch him. And in the last moment, the El Paso police actually took him into custody to protect him. Another person that they found was the American consul of El Paso, Thomas Edwards. I don't know, Andrew, if you could do picture number 13. That's a picture of Thomas Edwards. Edwards was caught in the Sheldon Hotel having a drink, and the mob went in there and chased him all the way back to Ciudad Juarez, blaming him basically for encouraging these miners to go into Mexico when it was not safe. The rioting really took on a very, bad, so 1,500 people at this point in the afternoon or early evening were roaming the streets, armed and angry, and it was a powder keg. And what happened then was that two soldiers from Fort Bliss set this powder keg on fire. They had a brawl with several Mexican residents in the Chihuahuita neighborhood, and they ended up retreating, but more soldiers from Fort Bliss came to their aid and started going into the barrio. So the residents there called for help in Ciudad Juarez. So then residents from Ciudad Juarez started streaming across the International Bridge to help Mexican Americans and Mexicans caught in this brawl. And so this turned into a veritable race riot. And El Paso police, completely overwhelmed, didn't have enough people to contain this. And so Mayor Tom Lee called the military. So General Pershing basically was called in to bring soldiers to guard the streets and end the rioting,
Harry,
which he did.
Harry, also there was also or they tried to form what they called like a foreign legion of about 1,000 men from El Paso to go down into Mexico. Do you remember hearing about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that was, of course, a big call was to punish the perpetrators of this massacre. And as you said, about 1,000 people wanted to form an armed posse to go after the perpetrators of the massacre, encouraged by the fact that the rescuers basically said, look, the Villistas are still there. They were watching us. They are on the hills, and the Carrancistas are not doing anything about it. So the idea was that the Mexican government is not going to bring them to justice. And it's a justified view, although, of course, it does not justify vigilantism and invasion of a foreign country. But yes, there were a lot of people that really wanted to go into Mexico. And in fact, one of Pershing's first acts was to close the international border for two reasons. One was for American posses and vigilantes not going into Mexico, and the second one was to prevent residents from Ciudad Juarez to come into El Paso and participate in the rioting.
So he was stopping traffic both ways.
Yeah. That's a twist I don't think most people have ever heard about the Mexican Revolution, and there's so many facets of it that is fascinating.
Well, this is an interesting thing you're talking about. We're going to take another break here. Heribert von Feilitzsch is on the phone talking about this, and you're from almost snowy North Carolina, right?
We're waiting for it. I wished I would have that gallon of margarita at hand that you're getting when you go to Pepe's today, because we might need it. We might have a power outage for a few days.
You need a lot of salt for that margarita to keep it thawed out.
A gallon would probably take care of you for a little while. Fair enough. Harry, stick on the phone here. We'll talk further about this whole situation and what happened. And also, in about 10 minutes, we're going to hear from what happened at Concordia Cemetery.
Its involvement in the Mexican Revolution.
Big time. So, all right. Hang in there, Harry. Any last thoughts before we go to break?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I would like to encourage your listeners to do is I posted the names of the victims, and of course the race riots are still in the memories of many El Pasoans. So if you are in the audience and you have a family story, you have a family member that was either one of the victims or involved somehow in this race riot, that I think it would be great to hear from you.
You got your website still, right?
I sure do. It's www.felixsommerfeld.com, or you can find me on Facebook /Secret War Council.
Cool.
Slash what?
War Council.
Secret War Council.
Secret War. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret War Council. Fair enough. All right, Harry. Hang in there, Harry. We'll be back in just a minute, and we'll talk further. If you need to call us, you got that. Let's throw the phone number out one more time.
915-544-5876 or 915-544-KTSM.
M1 EP Management Corporation is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, invest in real estate. M1 EP manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the website, m1ep.com. M1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Mike Baca, 915-592-4549. 915-592-4549.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
Oh, it's doing great. I've been on it now for about 3.5 years. I've lost 67 pounds, and I feel better than I did at age 40. The only thing I'm just getting older. That's the only thing that doesn't stop. Other than that, I feel good.
Listen, we're all getting older, but that doesn't mean you have to feel your age. Are you ready to turn back the clock? It's 2022, and there's never been a better time to start looking and feeling young again. Introducing Andro400.com. Andro400.com has proven solutions to melt belly fat, increase mood and memory, increase energy, and bring that spark back to your love life. Visit Andro400.com or call 888-400-0435 to see which product is right for you. Try the safe and natural way to start feeling and looking your best. And there's nothing to lose with an industry-leading 90-day money-back guarantee. Visit Andro400.com or call 888-400-0435.
Being a real estate agent isn't about listing houses. It's about connecting to people. I need to find new buyers every day, so I promote my listings using radio commercials from iHeartAdBuilder.com. Now every time I have an open house, it's a full house.
A custom radio ad from iHeartAdBuilder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer, wishing you a happy new year. If you felt like booking your timeshare was difficult in the past, you know it's been almost impossible over the last few years. Most clients are shocked that their timeshare is now available to the general public. Many owners have recently reached out to us, upset that their yearly dues have nearly doubled during this maintenance fee season, and are concerned what the future may hold. For well over a decade, Lone Star Transfer has had the pleasure of helping over 16,000 owners legally and permanently get out of their never-ending timeshare fees. With our A+ rating at the BBB and over 800 5-star testimonials, our clients know Lone Star Transfer is the only company they can trust. We guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Call us today to receive a free, no-obligation consultation at 833-594-0077 or online at lonestartransfer.com.
Your 10,000 steps, your 32 miles to work.
Gonna be late again.
Your 8 glasses of water.
What goes in must come out, right, boss?
Life is filled with many numbers, but just remember one of them. 690 KTSM. Your one place for reliable information you use every day.
Give you up-to-date information.
That's affecting me on my day-to-day.
7 days a week. Count on one station. El Paso's News Radio. 690 KTSM. El Paso's News Radio. 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By M1EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
I'll take that cue here and tell you who's coming in here next week. It's going to be military historian John Hamilton. And we've asked him to talk about the 1877 Salt War in San Elizario, Texas. And that was a rather extensive thing. That's another topic, Melissa.
That's another wild one, yeah.
Well, it should be made into a movie. There's so many historical movies that could be made about El Paso. That is another one. So what do you got?
Well, next time you're downtown, don't forget to visit the El Paso Museum of History when you're there. It'll be a time well spent. And the El Paso Museum of History is located at 510 North Santa Fe Street in El Paso.
And we had Erica Marin on last week talking about that. And she's focusing on some individual histories in South El Paso sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's El Segundo Barrio on Chihuita, right?
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah,
so
cool.
All right, back here where we are with Heribert von Feilitzsch. Harry, how's the world treating you now? You're still cold, I bet.
Well, I got a fire in the fireplace, and I feel pretty good so far.
Oh, good.
But, I was in Virginia about 2 weeks ago, and it snowed like hell, and I was 3.5 days without power, and that was not too much fun.
No. So you're better off today. Thank you for ringing up and talking about this this small but interesting and crucial part of the Mexican Revolution. It wasn't really like the big battles between the people in Mexico, but it was kind of like an aftermath of attitudes against the Americans, basically. And then what happened in El Paso? You had some other thoughts about folks.
Yeah, I mean, this is, the important thing here is that, what happened in El Paso is also a sign of the time. This race riot that erupted lasted for a day and a half. And thank goodness, nobody was killed. At least we don't know of anybody. It's still possible that somebody did get killed and was not officially reported. Only 17 people were officially arrested. 13 of them were arrested for their own safety, according to the police, because the mob wanted to lynch these people. And so it went without that many victims. A few years later, we have the race riots in Houston. And then, of course, a few years after that, you have the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots. So this is all feeding into what is happening in American society at the time.
Well, Tulsa,
and it is.
Tulsa was not Mexican Americans and whites. It was black people, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Same way in Houston. But I'm just saying that a lot of public reaction to an outrage was to look for victims, and these victims were usually minorities. In the case of El Paso, the mob went into Chihuahuita and Segundo Barrio, and literally was looking for people to abuse and hurt.
Or exact revenge in their mind. Yeah.
That's just downright stupid, I mean, that's just wrong. But it did happen. So that's part of the history we're reporting on. And some of the times the history we report on is not fun. And today's been kind of a rough talk about massacres and riots and stuff. But you also had some other reactions of people in El Paso, I think. You said you had some pictures you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, Andrew, if you can put up picture 19. This is, as I mentioned before, this is a picture that shows Jose Inés Salazar. He was a Mexican general and participated in all kinds of battles. At one point, he supported Orozco. In the beginning of the revolution, he was a Maderista. And so at the end of the Civil War, he joined Villa. So he's kind of been all over the place. At the time of this massacre, Salazar was in El Paso, and lynch mob literally came to the hotel to take him out and hang him. And he's lucky that the police was able to get him out of there, and they kept him in jail overnight. And so he survived that. And then I have another picture, maybe it's number 20. And this is Miguel Diaz de Lombardo. He was in the cabinet of Francisco Madero, the revolutionary president, from 1911 to 13. And he then joined the Villa faction and was basically the de facto Secretary of State for Pancho Villa, and comes from a very good family, noble family at that. And so he also lived in El Paso, and he was accosted by the mob, and the police also secured him, but they actually, the city of El Paso actually decided to expel him, not to ever come back. And so in the days after the riots, Diaz de Lombardo actually fled to Los Angeles, and as far as I know, never set foot into El Paso again after that.
El Paso was a rough place, but also was a very internationally known place. There were correspondents from all over the planet here reporting all this stuff. In the New York Times had a whole lot of stories about the 1916 January massacre we're talking about. They reported on that extensively. So there was a lot of that going on here. We have a caller coming in here. You ready for a caller here, Harry, before we take the next break?
Are you? Yeah, is that Patricia coming in?
No, she's not in yet. We have this is Raul. Raul, you're on the radio. What's up?
Great show. Wow, what a story. I'd never heard that. That's some of that history that they're not teaching us here at the schools.
Right.
It almost sounds like that critical race theory, for bringing up these atrocities that were committed against people of color by the U.S. government and the white people here.
That's a different topic.
Away with it.
It's I guess there's some similarities, but this is a whole different issue here. And is he gone?
What?
I didn't tell
well,
him.
thank you.
Oh, there he.
Oh, that was that Harry?
We just lost.
We lost Harry. All right, Harry, come back. Call us back. Raul, yeah, I think that's a different thing, but maybe some similarities. Anyway, you're right there. And what I'm hoping that we can get past all this stuff. Basically, I mean, what a horrendous way to live. It
was a calamity of situations. Unfortunately, you had all the Americans killed in Mexico, along with Mexican Americans, and then of course people here not understanding, and they took to their emotions, and this happens.
And people just jumping to conclusions. Oh, I lost Raul. Raul, I'm sorry, but when I put Harry back on, I killed Raul.
Bye, everyone.
Sorry about that. Anyway, we got your point, Raul. Thank you for ringing up here. We're going to take a break anyway. Harry, we do appreciate what you've got going on here, and the fact that you have written extensively on this, and the place where a lot of your information is located is felixsommerfeld.com, and that's just full of all kinds of interesting stuff about the Mexican Revolution and World War I. So, all right, we'll take a break here and come back. Harry, can you stick by?
Absolutely.
Thank you for speed dialing back. All right, hold on. We'll be back in just
hold on there.
Back in a moment.
Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Donovan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the one and only margarita from the Cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Donovan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
The El Paso History Show with Jackson Polk and Melissa Sargent is 10 a.m. this Saturday, and the history of the 1877 Salt War in San Lazario, Texas. The El Paso History Show is sponsored by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant in Cañutillo, Mission Del Rey Southwest, Keystone Heritage Park, and by M1EP Management Corporation. Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Now streaming on Facebook and YouTube and on News Radio 690.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes can make a big difference. Want to reduce your food waste? Embrace your freezer. From bread to meat and even cheese, most foods can be frozen and cooked later. Plus, a full freezer uses less electricity. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code FUEL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code FUEL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FUEL.
According to scientific research, the brain begins to decrease memory
memory and cognitive skills as early as your mid-30s. Recent advances have discovered an incredible memory breakthrough that's been anticipated for years. This discovery has seen memory repair in 21 days or less, with a huge boost in concentration and performance. This memory brain booster is called Neuroxin. Neuroxin is now conducting a national memory research survey on improved brain performance, and you can participate. Participants have witnessed an increase in brain power by up to 89%, with noticeable results in just days. It's time to take care of your body's most important resource and experience a focus and clarity like never before. Call now to register while space is available, and take advantage of Neuroxin's free bottle offer while supplies last. Space is limited, so call now.
Call 800-605-9618. That's 800-605-9618. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-605-9618. 800-605-9618.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By M1EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
We're going to take a moment here and tell you what's going on this week only in El Paso Inc.
Customers have returned to restaurants, but workers have not as staffing shortages worsen.
How one local vet practice in Sunland Park has adapted as the pandemic slides into its third year.
El Paso's business journal, El Paso Inc., is available for home or business delivery and online at elpasoinc.com.
So to order it, go there and see what you can get there. Nice. That's a great newspaper. Here he is, Heribert von Feilitzsch. Am I saying that correctly, von Feilitzsch?
I mean, Jackson, after 3 years, I think you got it.
Finally, it's been a while, and we do appreciate your patience with me as I take on a German name I'm not used to, but I'm getting used to you. Maybe that's what it is. Fair enough. All right. Also, you talked about how things happened in El Paso, and one of them was some of the victims were actually buried at Concordia, right?
Yeah. So quite a few of the people were from El Paso, and so there are 2 graves at Concordia. There's some at Evergreen, and other local cemeteries.
All right. Well, so we've got Patricia Kidney on the phone here. Good morning, Patricia. She's going to talk about Concordia.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Thank you for allowing us to jump in on this. This
Sure.
is great. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Patricia. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. I hear you're in the frozen tundra.
It's 28 degrees outside, so it's pretty cold.
Stay warm, my friend. We need you.
Thank you.
Patricia, take a few minutes and talk about what happened and the people that ended up in Concordia.
Well, they ended up in Concordia because several of them were Masons. And in my discussion with the Masonic Lodge 130 here in El Paso, I was told that the lodge intervened and asked the Masons in Mexico to facilitate bringing these bodies back. Apparently, there was some resistance on releasing them in the beginning. So they were very instrumental in helping make that happen. And so then, we first heard about this through a book about Gringo's Curve back in 2006. And it was relating to railroad history and the Mexican railroads. And when I heard this story, it grabbed my heart. As you know, I've been involved with Concordia for almost 30 years. And you can't get emotionally involved with each and every one of the 60,000 people buried there. However, this story just grabbed me, and I could not let go of it. So I started researching more and more and more, and that's how we ended up finding those two graves, and they're both in the Masonic section next to each other. And we're still looking. We've had rumors that Romero is buried there, but we just cannot find him in our Concordia burial log. So we're looking. We haven't given up.
You made a monument, a memorial to them, and they had an event last Monday.
Dedicated it. Yeah.
Last Monday.
In 2018, the association approved and set about getting this memorial. And what I wanted was to list all of the victims, not just these two. I wanted a place in El Paso to tell the story of this horrific massacre. And so we have that right at the two headstones. And then we were able to get a border put around it this last year. So it stands out. It's easily seen in the Masonic cemetery. And it's about 4 feet tall, maybe. And big letters across the top. It says Mexican Revolution, Gringo's Curve Massacre, Santa Isabel, Chihuahua, Mexico, January 10th, 1916.
And if somebody wants to know more about that, then can they ring you up? What's your phone number?
My phone number is 915-591-2326. Or you can check out our Concordia website, which is www.concordia.cemetery.org.
All right, but Patricia, thank you for ringing up. I do appreciate it.
But Patricia, you're going to be doing a big dedication in the future, correct?
We have done a dedication.
But I mean, you would talk
that
about
was
maybe,
Monday, you said.
that was
They've
one
done
last Monday. But was it annually or something you were talking about?
Yes, we will do. Hopefully, we can have a larger memorial. We've already done. It is dedicated. It is done. But we will have a larger, hopefully, a bigger turnout in 2023, and we're hoping to have some more information printed. And Harry, I just love what you've brought to us and filled in the gaps. And you and I need to be in contact. Okay.
Absolutely. Patricia, I'm so really excited about what you're doing. Concordia, let me ask you a question. Was Huerta buried in Concordia at one point? Or is he still there?
Who?
Huerta.
Yes.
Victoriano Huerta?
Yes, he was here from 1916 until 1936. Mm-hmm. He was not buried. He was not buried. He was in the mausoleum. And you're not in the ground. You're held in until, basically, it's a place to be held until you are sent elsewhere. And there was a lot of back and forth. He did not want to go to Mexico. He wanted to have his family be buried in the family plot. And he is now at Evergreen.
Patricia, thanks a lot for ringing up. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome. See you at lunch.
Fair enough. Take care. You take it easy.
Colonel or General Orozco was also buried next, or well, not buried, but he was in the same places Huerta was initially.
Oh, a lot of details. Hey, we got a call from Ramon. Ramon, you're on the radio. What's up? You want to talk about Villa real quick? Make it quick.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Just to let you know that during the revolution, my grandparents, which are my mother's parents, were living in Juarez, and they were allowed to come to the United States when they opened the border for the refugees to come in.
Uh-huh.
And once they came here, they informed them if they would go ahead and register themselves, they would become American citizens, which they did. Then my mother was the first one to be born here in the United States from her family.
A lot of history. A lot of people came over the border and are major, mainstays of El Paso right now. And you're one of them. We thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, before I go, my father was born in Chihuahua, and his family knew Pancho Villa personally.
Well, that can be
both sides of the family.
That can be good or bad depending upon how he treated your family. So
they were friends. They treated them good. They were friends.
Fair enough.
In South El Paso, there used to be a lot of history of Pancho Villa back in the 50s. A lot of history. I think a lot of it got lost. But so I thank you and your program to bring it back.
Well, we're doing what we can, and thank you for the ring up. Appreciate it. You take care.
Okay,
take care now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you again. Harry, we're going to take another break here and come back, and we never did get to the stash house, which you probably should do, and just explain what that meant. And also, there was a number of incidents that led up to the Columbus raid. So the stash house was just one of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, there were, the massacre at Santa Isabel is not the only time Americans were killed in that time period. There were, just on the day when the dead bodies returned from Chihuahua, there were reports for 2 more Americans, in this case, ranchers, killed by Villistas. And so this went on, that whole springtime. And of course, the Columbus raid then was the culmination of it all, and that it caused the American intervention in Mexico.
Yeah, the sad part is that the El Pasoans apparently took it out on innocent people in South El Paso. That's not right, but that apparently did occur. So, all right, hold on there. We'll take a break here and come back. All right, fair enough. I'll be back in a moment on the El Paso History Radio Show.
M1 EP Management Corporation is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, invest in real estate. M1 EP manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Mike Baca, 915-592-4549, 915-592-4549.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
I bought football tickets for my husband's birthday, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k or IRA? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts agree the 401k has been a dismal failure, and even the man who invented it now says it's a monster that should be destroyed. 401ks and IRAs have major dangers, including fees that gobble up 50% of your retirement savings over time. The government controls your money and changes the rules anytime they want, and it gets worse. History confirms we're past due for a major market crash that could wipe out 50% of your savings again. Now, a free report from Bank on Yourself reveals where the inventor of the 401k puts his money. You're 100% protected from crashes. There are no fee surprises. And you control your money, not the government. Plus, your withdrawals are tax-free, which protects your savings from being devoured by taxes that can only get more monstrous. So get your report now at freereportfast.com. That's freereportfast.com. freereportfast.com.
There's an app for everything. And I bet you have multiple apps on your phone just to order food, get a ride, or even find a date. But we made the iHeartRadio app your all-in-one app. Your favorite music, radio stations, and podcasts together, and all for free. Listen to your favorite radio station anywhere you want, plus all your favorite music and just about every podcast in the world, all in one place with one touch. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
And now let's turn back the pages of time and return to the El Paso History Show. Brought to you by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. By M1 EP Management Corporation, 915-592-4549. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. Here again, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
Got a couple of quick announcements for you here. The Cultural Heritage Society of the Camino Real de Tierra Adentro is headquartered in San Elizario, Texas, and they promote El Paso history on the Camino Real north to the top of New Mexico and south to Mexico City. So we appreciate what they do. culturalheritagesociety.com. 915-851-0093.
To find out what is happening at Franklin Mountain State Park, we're going to tell you. I missed that lineup. January 28th at 12 p.m., Weiler Tramway has an online program called Ask the Expert, and they will be discussing the Rio Bosque Wetlands Park, and they will be explaining about the history and everything about this. And this will be held on the Weiler Tramway Facebook page. If you have questions, give Diana Moy a call at 915-444-9100.
And interesting stuff here. And Heribert von Feilitzsch is with us. Last segment here, Harry. We had mentioned we would talk about the Pancho Villa Stash House. Put that in the sequence of events that led up to the Columbus raid, because it was one of them. You had the movement by train we mentioned earlier of troops by Wilson, and then this event occurred. And what was this event at the Stash House?
Yeah, so I think it was around November 15th, Zach Lamar Cobb, the famous El Paso customs collector, organized a raid of Treasury agents of the Stash House, and they retrieved a bunch of cash and also jewelry. So what actually is the background of this is that, like I said, the Division of the North, Pancho Villa's army dissolved, and Hipólito, his brother, I think it's his brother-in-law owned this house. It is the Pancho Villa Stash House. And so Hipólito brought cash and jewelry into the house. And obviously the customs collector had wind of that, and they raided the place and took the money. It actually was returned to the Villa family later, and including the jewelry, took lawsuits and so forth. But what's really interesting is it's a great example of what could happen to you if you lived in that time period in a place like El Paso.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually no crime committed at this place, yet they were raided. And so I think it's a great example. We were just talking about the race riots, how people just went through the barrios and smashed in shop windows and hunted down residents. It was just a very unsettled time, and lots of things happened that left big scars, and those scars are still visible today, and so we should acknowledge them.
I would call that insensitive stupidity myself, but then, we've had a lot of that in the human race. I guess it's our portion in El Paso. I do hope we're over that, but you never know. I mean, at this point, we can only hope.
We're an emotional people, all of us.
We're just stupid sometimes, in my estimation. But the Stash House itself has a historic marker there. It's on Leon Street. It's a couple of houses up from Paisano. It's in the Union Plaza district, and it's got an interesting story, and sometimes it's open for tours and stuff. And I'm guessing it's going to be a lot more famous real soon. Is my bet.
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, indeed. So
I think you guessed right.
Yeah, I bet it is. Anyway, so the whole thing about history of what we got here, Harry. Let's wrap this up, because we had this raid on Columbus. We got about 3 minutes here. We had this raid on Columbus, but that was the most visible thing with the punitive expedition and all that. But this Stash House and the other things, they were incidences that led up to it. And again, it was sort of like how would you phrase it? It's like they got rid of Pancho Villa kind of, but he didn't go away.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's actually an incredible miscalculation. You would call it today an intelligence failure. Pancho Villa actually was planning on attacking American interests after he declared war on the United States in November, and he was pursuing this plan, and American intelligence was wholly unaware of this. And so Columbus came as a total surprise. And the response, of course, played in the hands of Germany, and the debate is still open whether Germany was behind it or not. People that know my books know that my thesis is that Germany was behind it. But the fact is that Pancho Villa was still active. He was a guerrilla. If you think about the place where the Santa Isabel massacre happened, that was his backyard. That's where he rode already when he was a bandit in the Diaz years. So he knew the whole region like the back of his hand. You see here on the displayed on the internet a wanted poster. And so maybe to wrap this up, let's talk a little bit about the people that were involved in Santa Isabel that also then were involved in the raid on Columbus.
Also, let's talk about
your
books as well. Where do you get your books? Don't forget that.
Yeah, so my books are available on Amazon, and the book dealing with this time period is called Felix A. Sommerfeld and the Mexican front in the Great War. And that book's also available in Spanish, called Felix A. Sommerfeld, El Frente Mexicano en la Gran Guerra. And so if you are interested, it has a lot of interesting facts and a lot of new stuff in it.
We're almost completely out of time, Harry, but make it quick. You get 30 seconds.
Okay. Just real quick, Pablo Lopez, the leader of the attack at the Santa Isabel massacre. Like I said, he was found by the Carrancistas in May and then executed in June 1916. Candelario Cervantes, another one of the attackers at the raid on Columbus, was killed by American soldiers in May 1916 in Mexico. Francisco Beltran was caught by the Carrancistas and killed in April 1916. Julio Cardenas was killed in June 1916 by American troops.
There's the music, Harry.
In fact,
we're out of here.
That was a raid that George S. Patton participated in, and so that's where George S. Patton got his name.
Harry, we're gone here. The music is going to get us, and the computer's right after that. Thanks a lot, Harry von Feilitzsch, for being with us today. We'll see you someday at Pepe's. How's that? I'm going today.
I will be there.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Harry. You take her easy. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the El Paso History Show. We hope you'll join us again next Saturday morning, 10 to noon, and be sure to tell a friend about us. Sponsored by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, 915-585-7777. By Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. By Keystone Heritage Park on Donovan Drive, 915-584-0563. By M1 EP Management Corporation. By Mission Del Rey, 1421 Lee Trevino, with El Paso souvenirs and gift shopping. Thank you for joining us from the studios of News Radio 690 KTSM AM El Paso.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes make a big difference for the environment. Did you know that keeping your tires even a single PSI lower than recommended means worse mileage and more trips to the pump? So do the environment